traded starting right tackle Titus Howard to the Browns in exchange for a fifth-round pick. In the weekend of college hoops, Kentucky controlled the game versus Vanderbilt as the Dores fell 91-77. In Knoxville, Alabama overcame a 12-point halftime deficit to get the win over the Vols 71-69. UT's Nate Ament suffered a right leg injury in the contest and could not return. And the Vanderbilt women's team got yet another 34 points from Michaela Blakes to get the 87-77 win over the Lady Vols. From the Game Nashville studios, I'm Ian Safar.
For more, log on to thegamenashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
March 2nd, which means we get March Madness this month, but a little hockey news. The Nashville Predators are currently in action versus the Detroit Red Wings. It is a 3-2 score at the end of the second period in favor of Detroit. We will keep you updated as we continue to get news throughout the third period. As you can see, I am wearing a Nashville Predators polo, and I came in today to the Fordyce Center, and there was somebody else wearing a Predators polo as well. For right now, I'll leave it anonymous, but let's just say I may not have this polo much longer because I will either be donating it or burning it, one of the two. Well, you're about to find out the other person wearing the polo. He's sitting right across from me.
Yeah, mine looks better. Mine looks like
yours
it's got
looks
more
darker.
color. Yeah.
Mine looks a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Did you plan this?
No, not necessarily that you'd be wearing it. But let me say this, because I've been watching this game closely. The Preds got hosed moments ago in a 2-2 tie. They're on the power play, and there's a very obvious trip of Roman Josi that leads to a Detroit 2-on-1 shorthanded. They score to take the 3-2 lead. Horrendous call. I need to see more from Andrew Barnette. I need to see him basically in the official's face. And I saw none of that. I mean, what the hell? You're fighting for your playoff life, because the truth of the matter is, if they lose today in regulation, Barry Trotz is probably starting the process of pulling the trigger. This team's been playing really hard. They didn't win in Dallas. When they get in a shootout, they never win because they don't have any team speed. And overtime is team speed. In basketball, what you'd call illegal screens. And so they very seldom win and get the second point. The goal today that gives Detroit the lead is bogus. And I need to see more out of the coach. I need to see Andrew Barnette letting them have it. And I didn't see that. And, look, maybe this is just me, but I think players appreciate it when their coach jumps in the official's face and says, whatever.
Fill in the blank. I was working on stuff for the show, so I didn't see the third goal that Detroit scored, but I heard George losing his mind.
Yes, I said something
it sounds like he was losing it more than Andrew Barnette was.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not the coach. He is. He's the one that needs to fight for his players.
I always loved it when my coaches fought for me. I'll say that.
I didn't see any of that. Now, the crowd went berserk.
I'm sure.
They got deep into the, ref, you suck cheer. Now, I'm just saying the head coach has got to make it clear that that's unacceptable.
Sure. Now, you may be asking yourselves, why are the Predators playing at 1 o'clock puck drop? Well, it's part of the kind of the grow the game initiative type thing. This is European prime time. So while it may not be prime time here, it is European prime time, and that's why they're playing now.
Okay.
Sounds like they have a good crowd.
And let me say this. I would have told the NHL to grow the game in Detroit, grow it in Toronto. As a season ticket holder, we got hosed. People work for a living in the middle of the day.
Except during
Some
March
do.
Madness. And then we're really unproductive.
And then there's illnesses like diphtheria and explosive diarrhea.
Man, I got a lot of that in school. Lots of explosive diarrhea.
Oh, thanks.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's
to the update. We'll
Why
start
did you
there.
say that?
We'll start. I thought it was funny. Let's start there for the update. Since beating the Blackhawks 4-2 in the first game back since the Olympic break, yes, the Predators fell in overtime 3-2 to the Dallas Stars.
Played their butts off.
Sounds like it. Sounds like Dallas also got their 8th straight win? Is that correct?
Yeah, and they've all been by 1 goal.
So Dallas is playing pretty well. 3-2 is what the Predators trail by right now. And 2 points out from that final wild card spot?
3 from the 8th spot, 4 from the 7 going into today.
So the standings have kind of changed a little bit as the Predators are tied. I'm getting it pulled up here. They are tied for that 9th spot with San Jose with 62 points, 3 spots out of the final wild card spot with Seattle. And the Predators will have a big road trip coming up in which they will take on Seattle at the end of that road trip. Or actually, no, it's towards the beginning. So it starts with a trip to Buffalo, and then they go out west, which they will play Seattle, which will be a big time game if the Predators want to even make the playoff. Vancouver, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. And the reason they are taking a trip out west, the SEC men's basketball tournament.
Again, I don't want to over dramatize what may or may not be today, but the trading deadline is the 6th. That's Friday. So how they do in these next 3 games has probably got to give Barry Trotz some sort of okay, we're either seriously in it or we're not seriously in it. And a loss today would be really damaging and probably send them into the, okay, let's get on with the trading.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but we will certainly keep our eyes on the lookout for that. Some college football news, George, and at the beginning of March, nonetheless, Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel told Chris Lowe that he prefers a 24-team playoff.
And
the way college football is constantly changing, that probably makes the most sense. That is what Josh Heupel told Chris Lowe. And that would make sense because there's a lot of pressure on Heupel to make the playoffs. And if it was 24 teams, that would be much easier to do so.
I believe that seems a little self-serving.
Very. The Mississippi House passed a bill that would exclude the athletes' NIL earnings from state income tax.
Wow.
Really?
Really?
I will say, we talk about college athletes a lot on this show. I would also not like to pay taxes. So if you're listening, that would be nice.
Yeah.
George, another great weekend of college basketball. Somebody that you know, Bruce Pearl, had some comments regarding Miami, Ohio, saying that if they go undefeated but don't win their conference, they should not make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I don't agree with him, but that may also be self-serving as well because his son is one of those schools that's sitting there in a very precarious position that has only gotten worse over the weekend.
With a loss to Ole Miss, the Auburn Tigers are 15-14, and I don't know if they will have that next 4 out, but we will see when Joe Lunardi releases his latest bracketology tomorrow. Miami, Ohio's AD did fire back at Bruce Pearl. David Saylor, I believe I'm saying that right. He said, "You are flat out wrong. When you say we should finish last, when we when you say we would finish last in the Big East, the disrespect is awful, and you should not be near a TV studio covering the sport when you show your true colors. Even slipped a we in there when talking about Auburn. Nice work.
Well, let me say this. I like Bruce Pearl's work because he's willing to give opinions. That doesn't mean his opinion is right. I happen to think it's wrong. I watched Miami O Friday night in a razor's edge. On one hand, they're not dominating, but on the other, boy, they sure appear to know how to win a lot of close games.
It's an art at this point. 29-0, and they're looking to get to 30-0 as they have a game, I believe, tomorrow night or Wednesday.
This is what the committee doesn't want to have to deal with, because in the MAC, you've got Miami O, Kent State, and Akron as your three big boys. And what they don't want to have to do is give one that they think should go somewhere else. That's the pressure being on the committee. What's the right thing?
And they face the same pressure with the A10, because if St. Louis doesn't win the conference, VCU might, George Mason might. That would be those teams would serve as a bid stealer, because I'm sure St. Louis would still get in the field as well. Probably the same thing with Miami, Ohio.
Well, and locally, Belmont is in that thing, and Belmont did nothing to help themselves yesterday. What a miserable last 5 minutes up at Illinois State in Normal, Illinois.
Which we will talk to Taylor Barnette at 4:00 about, former Belmont men's basketball player. George, the game you were at this weekend in Rupp, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. Kentucky, don't know where this team came from. They couldn't miss, and they beat Vanderbilt 91-77.
Okay, so run through some of the pictures that I sent you. So here's what's different about Rupp Arena. The first time I ever went, that upper deck, no, go back. Okay, the upper deck was nothing but benches. And now the only benches in Rupp Arena are in the end zone, where they now are sticking the students. If you look down at the bottom of the floor, there's a different shade of blue. Those are new seats that basically are high roller seats, media put upstairs. This is part of what schools are having to do to maximize every last penny they can get. That's a $22 million basketball payroll. And while they felt like it Saturday, because they absolutely annihilated Vandy from beginning to end, so much so that if I were Mark Byington, I would have had a team meeting yesterday to say, what gives? Lifeless? Dead? I don't know about disinterested, but I didn't get much of a feeling about it. Okay, so go through a couple of the other pictures. So there's where we were sitting. And at Rupp, if you're in the lower level, there's not a bad seat in the house. And whatever you think of Kentucky, you may love them, you may hate them, but they got the best fan base in college basketball. It's incredible.
Man, that I've never had the chance. By the way, George, did you try their ice cream?
No, I had passes to the club level.
And they don't serve soft serve up there?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Seems blasphemous.
No, but it was a very nice club level. Thoroughly enjoyed the visit, except for the game.
Kentucky shot 50% from three, 59% from the field. Colin Chandler legacy game, 23 points from him.
Yeah, they made him look like Steph Curry. Most of them might as well have been set shots.
And Otega Owe, 23 points as well. Not a good night for Vanderbilt, but honestly, not a much better night for the Tennessee Volunteers, who at one point had a 13-point lead over Alabama, and that was blown in the final seconds of the game. LeBaron Philon turned into the guy you just mentioned, Steph Curry, and they couldn't stop him.
So let me ask this, because I got in at the dead ball timeout with under 4 to play. So Ament had gotten hurt and he wasn't playing, and they fall apart. How much does one lead to the other?
Ament came back for a little bit in the second half and couldn't go anymore, so they just took him out and he was done. What I will say, I thought defensively they had some switches on LeBaron Philon. Like towards the end, they had JP Estrella guarding him, and LeBaron Philon, you could see him shaking his head like, what are you doing? And he scored the game-winning bucket on JP Estrella. So I thought defensively, the game plan for him specifically, not very good.
Yeah, he can't go out there.
Yeah. JP Estrella is not the person I would want guarding LeBaron Philon. LeBaron Philon had a fantastic night. Trying to find 23 points off the bench, and Latrell Wrightsell 25 points. Alabama was putrid in the first half and couldn't miss in the second. And that's basically the story of the game. Now, what's really interesting is the new AP poll came out today, and Tennessee and Vanderbilt are both still ranked, shockingly. Tennessee's 23 and Vanderbilt's 24.
Was it on this show a week ago, or did I hear this elsewhere, that the thing kind of propping Vandy up right now is the fact that they've got more quad one wins than like everybody in the country except about 4 teams?
That seems about right. But if you look at the teams receiving votes, it's very weak. BYU, who just lost, Louisville, who just lost, Kentucky, a 10-loss Kentucky team, Missouri. It's a very weak bubble this year. So that's kind of that.
By the way, anybody and everybody who's a college hoops fan, put Rupp Arena on your bucket list. It is really a cool place.
I need to go. And George, the World Baseball Classic officially starts on Thursday, but they're playing some exhibitions tomorrow. So you already said, how much of that will you be interested in?
Probably more than I used to be, because it's turned out to be better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I'm quite excited for it.
I didn't think the players would buy into it the way they have.
Well, Tarek Skubal said he's only pitching 1 game, which I'm kind of surprised by. Couple NFL trades that happened today. The Texans are trading for Lions running back David Montgomery, which makes you think that Joe Mixon's probably not going to be on the roster next year, at least for them. The Washington Commanders are going to release Marshawn Lattimore, saving about $18.5 million. And the Texans also released their right tackle, Titus Howard. So some NFL news and notes for today. Today's the last day for the franchise tag. So NFL free agency starts next week, and we'll figure out what the old Titans are going to do.
Preds in Detroit, 8 minutes into the third period, 3-2 Detroit, as Crispy used to say it.
One more time?
Detroit.
We'll keep you updated on that as we get closer to the end of regulation. And let's get into some college hoops discussion on the other side, followed by something that you will not want to miss. We'll get to that on the other side. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Celebrity Bowling. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. 400.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
I do apologize because I meant to give a shout out to Vanderbilt women's basketball, who beat the Lady Vols yesterday in Knoxville for their 27th win of the season. They're 27-3, firmly sitting at number 5 in the country. They will probably end up taking on Texas at some point, if I had to guess, in the SEC tournament, which would be for a number 1 overall seed. This is quite the season for Vanderbilt women's basketball, and I did want to give them a shout out. I did not forget about them, just a lot to kind of fit into the update there. Let's get into some college hoops discussion, because it was not a good week for the in-state teams. As Tennessee lost to Alabama, their second straight loss since winning their last 8 of 9, lost to Missouri on last Tuesday night. Then Vanderbilt fell to Kentucky in Rupp. Since starting the season 16-0, Vanderbilt is 5 of their last 7, and Belmont, they 5-7 in their last 12, and then Belmont fell to Illinois State, their 5th loss of the season. They still have a pretty sizable lead in the Missouri Valley Conference, but still not a game that you want to lose. But let's start with Vanderbilt, George. How concerning is it that Vanderbilt is 5-7 in their last 12?
I don't know that it's so much the record, because for me, a lot of this is the SEC is still pretty darn good. To me, it's more this feeling that they're running out of gas a little bit. One thing I've noticed that has been going on is Mark Byington has, for the most part, whittled it down to 7 players. For instance, on Saturday, he started Duke Miles instead of Washington. The game before that, it was Washington instead of Duke Miles. Chandler Bing appears to be the other player that's getting some fairly significant playing time off the bench. Other than that, it's very spotty. Mike James every once in a while. Tyler Harris every once in a while.
The third Tyler.
Yeah, I wonder if they're running out of gas. They looked like a tired team Saturday.
George, I'm very concerned, because I believe the strength of this team is in their backcourt with their guards. I think Devin McLaughlin's a good player. I think A.K. Okereke is a good player. But I worry what happens if they get matched up with a team with a lot of length and athleticism in the front court come NCAA tournament time. Does this tired group, does this kind of gassed out group kind of hit a wall once that NCAA tournament comes around?
Well, you've heard me say this before. I think one of the things that goes on in these conferences, and I think it's worse than it's ever been, when you get to this time of the year, every team knows every other team's tendencies. I think Tennessee is suffering from this some. I think Vandy's suffering from this some. You know, you'll have a former player tell you they throw up the fist, that play, and the other team knows the play every bit as good as your own players. They're yelling out something. I think both Tennessee and Vandy will benefit when they get to the NCAA tournament that they're not playing SEC people anymore. They're both going to get somebody in the 11 to 12 seed, so probably not as good as the upper half of the SEC. I think both of them will tend to benefit from that.
George, that's what I think is going to happen with Houston. Because we've talked about that 3-game stretch they had where you're at Iowa State, you host Arizona, and then you're at Kansas on Big Monday. I tend to believe a team like Houston, and maybe this applies to a bunch of different teams as well, this logic. But when you're not having to go through that gauntlet, and you get to the NCAA tournament, you get a 12 seed, and then you get an 8, 9, whatever in the second round. I tend to think that that's going to help some teams just kind of take off.
Yeah, except for one thing. Look, the fact that Houston went 0-3, name those 3 where they had to go.
Hilton, they got Arizona at home, and then they went to Fogg.
Okay, at Iowa State.
Hosted Arizona.
And then went to Kansas. To me, it was the Kansas deal. They looked completely clueless offensively. I've never seen one of his teams look like that. And it really threw me for a loop. I was like, you just don't see this. I see some Houston teams that over the years can't hit the broadside of the barn, but they really had trouble getting shots in that game. It was a little surprising.
And what's really surprising is their 4-year man, Emmanuel Sharp, who is known for being their 3-point shooter. If they're going to get any offense, it's going to come from their stud freshman, Kingston Flemings, and it's going to come from their senior guard, Emmanuel Sharp, who typically has been able to shoot the leather off the ball. He, like Tyler Nickel, has gotten in a bit of a slump. Will they be able to get him back to form? Same thing with Tyler Nickel, George. How much do you think that's affected this Vanderbilt team, Tyler Nickel's shooting?
Well, it sure doesn't help, and he's not getting great shots. Degree of difficulty is pretty high, but they've got to have 15 to 20 from him. On nights where they're going to do well, he's got to be a big contributor.
George, I was watching him on Saturday specifically in Rupp. It just seems like just catch and shoot really no matter where he is, and getting, again, the offense doesn't really get in any sort of rhythm either. So that's been concerning. I don't know what the exact number is. I think he's 5 of his last 26 from 3, which was, don't ask me to do math on the air, less than 20%.
Yeah, it's less than 20.
Yeah, so not good.
Yeah, they got to get him back to where he was. And look, I have no idea what's going on. Do I think at this time of year that it gets, that it's a grind? Sure it is. What have they played already? Like 30 games?
Yeah, just close. They're going to play their 30th game tomorrow.
So on the college level, it's becoming more like half an NBA season.
Yeah. At Ole Miss tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And then they're
tomorrow night or Wednesday night?
Tomorrow night. And then they're in Knoxville on Saturday. So final 2 road games for the Commodores before the SEC tournament. Just looking at the standings, there's a cluster of teams right there. And with Tennessee losing on Saturday to Alabama, they fall to the 6th spot in the SEC. So Florida kind of has the chokehold on the conference, followed by Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky's in the 5, Tennessee at 6, Texas at 7, Vanderbilt at 8.
Tomorrow's a must win for them. What you don't want to do is present the committee with a look that says 4 losses in a row going into the tournament. So there's a person on the chat room. What's going on with Collins at Vandy? Collins has played his last game, and that was determined weeks ago, mostly by him. The way I understand it, he got hurt in Memphis against the Tigers and made the decision at some point that he's gotten, I don't know, a certain percentage of his Vandy money, but if he stays out and doesn't play again, then he doesn't lose a redshirt year that would give him another year to make college money. Do I think that's slimy? Hell yeah, I think it's slimy.
What, it'd be 7th year in college?
Well, he signed up to be a Vanderbilt basketball player. And at some point, he made the decision he's not. And I don't know why Byington is making up all this crap about, we'll wait and see, will this, will that. Everybody knows it's over.
He's not playing.
No. Now watch him turn around and play tomorrow night and make me look like a liar.
Here's the thing. This would be his 5th school in 6 years. He started at Michigan, spent 2 years at Arizona State, last year at TCU, Vanderbilt, and he would be at a different school. This is what's wrong with college athletics right here. By the way, George, I did see on Twitter today that Frankie Collins was selling his furniture in his apartment on Facebook Marketplace. So take that for what it's worth. Tennessee dropped their 2nd straight game to Alabama on Saturday after losing at Missouri on last Tuesday night. So with the Vols, George, obviously got to close out the season with Vanderbilt hosting Vanderbilt. It's going to be a big game as always. They're at South Carolina tomorrow as well, so Tennessee and Vandy both in action. But with Tennessee, do you have the same sentiment as me where the ceiling is Sweet 16?
Probably. Look, we now know this. When they don't have Ament, they struggle. Suddenly things become a lot more of a struggle because he's the guy when the shot clock goes deep that you give the ball and get out of the way, and he delivers way more than the normal human being. So when they didn't have him against Alabama, things kind of fell apart.
Right.
And, they need him healthy.
Here was the scoring output with Ament out. So Okpara had 8, Jalen Carey had 10, Jacoby Gillespie, who I thought was phenomenal at times, 26 points. Bishop Boswell, who's not going to be a high scoring guy, he's more so the glue piece. He had 4 points, and then JP Estrella off the bench with 12. So JP Estrella has been great, I thought, at times this year. But he's also not the person that you want guarding LeBaron Philon at the end of the game. I thought that was horrible management right there defensively. Thought it was terrible. So the Vols will be back in action versus South Carolina tomorrow and then close out with Vandy. George, it was a crazy weekend because what was perceived to be the game of the day, where actually College Game Day was on Saturday, was Florida and Arkansas. And a guy that you have dunked on several times, John Calipari, when all things are equal, is not going to outcoach you. And Florida took a belt to their behind and murdered them inside of Gainesville.
Okay, so it's another one of these red alerts. By the way, 5.5 minutes left at Bridgestone, Detroit, 3-2 still in what is a humongous game for the Preds. So Florida has been putting out warning signs for a while now that I don't care where you rank them. That there's several teams in the top 10 that are ranked, below Florida, that I'll take Florida any day of the week. Florida is a national title contender. There may be a group of people that figured it out Saturday when they beat Arkansas by like 40, but they started to show this in January when they came here, and Vandy didn't play bad at all. Florida was just incredible. Florida, when they play their A game, they're one of the top 4 or 5. I don't give a damn what the
They're 5th right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time.
Behind UConn at 4, which, by the way, that race for the final 1 seed, national 1 seed come tournament time is going to be fascinating. I think it's down to UConn and Florida, which is not exactly going out on a limb. 111-77 was the final score, George, the worst loss of Cal's career, worst loss of his career. And Florida was just exceptional. I've been high on their front court all year with guys like Alex Condon, Thomas Houck, and Ruben Chinulu, who had a combined, if I'm doing the math right, 49 points? Or no, it was 51. 51 combined points between the 3 of them. I thought they were all phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got a lot of stuff, and they know how to get it done. You know, you get to March, and Florida's sitting there going, oh, that's our time. We're the one that hung the net. I'm not saying they're going to, but I wouldn't rule it out. Under who are the teams that could win it? They're probably only 7, probably max.
7 max, yeah.
Florida's one of the 7.
Who would be the 6th? Or 6 and 7?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. But if you're going to force it.
I'm going to force your hand, George. I'm going to put you on the spot on National Twin Day. It's not actually National Twin Day. I'm just saying that because George and I are matching. Which, by the way, he planned because he wanted to look like me.
Yeah, you wish. So I don't have the top 20. Okay, just go through the top 10.
Duke.
Yes.
Arizona.
2.
Michigan.
3.
UConn.
4.
Florida.
5.
Iowa State.
5.
Houston.
5 3/4.
Michigan State.
Starting to buy them a little more. 6.5.
I am too. Nebraska.
No.
Texas Tech. Who got? Oh, by the way,
what a big win
in Hilton, nonetheless, without JT Toppin.
So keep going.
Illinois.
Illinois played like a bunch of wusses Friday night. Michigan could do whatever they wanted to do. And to be real honest about it, to me, that was the poster child of what you hear about the European players. Soft. Illinois played soft.
I'm going to skip over the Zags. Virginia?
Maybe.
Kansas?
Nah.
Purdue?
No.
I think it stops there because we're not Alabama. North Carolina may not have Caleb Wilson until the ACC tournament. St. John's? No. Miami, by the way, rose to 19. Arkansas, St. Mary's, Miami, Tennessee, Vandy, and St. Louis round out the top 25. George, I don't think there's a better coaching job in the last couple of weeks in college basketball than what Grant McCaslin has done with Texas Tech. They're 3-0 without JT Toppin, who is probably a first-team All-American. And when you go to Ames and you beat Iowa State, that was the most impressive win of the day, in my mind. So it was a phenomenal weekend of college basketball. And simultaneously, as Texas Tech and Iowa State were playing, Kansas and Arizona played. And there was a point in time where, Arizona, they got off to, I think it was a 21-5 lead in the first 5-6 minutes of the game. Kansas clawed their way back, and then Arizona just put their foot right back on the gas. 84-61 was the final score. I've been really impressed, specifically by Arizona's big men and how good they are in the paint, George. I think it's not a stretch to say Arizona may end up in the national title game. First time they've ever reached the Final Four under Tommy Lloyd, if that were to play out that way.
Really?
Tommy Lloyd never been to the Final Four with Arizona. The farthest they've made it is the Sweet 16. They were close to going to the Elite Eight one year when they played Clemson. So Big 12 has delivered constantly this year. And George, I called it. Late night, 9:30 tip, Gonzaga and St. Mary's. St. Mary's wins on their home court. Last time these two teams played in the regular season as conference rivals, the Gales, 70-59 over the Zags.
You got one right.
I didn't get just one. I'm going to show it at the end of the show.
No, I'm sure you are. Are you done?
Yeah. Do you want me to be done?
That's up to you.
It is up to me, I guess, today. Not for long. But, George, I have a very interesting conversation on the other side about Jeremiyah Love.
Oh, Lord.
We'll get to that on the other side. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Is designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Welcome back into the Plaster Show, continuing our conversation that's been going on for, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 days now about one man in particular, Jeremiyah Love. And there are rumors going around, people who are at the Combine saying that the Titans have fallen in love with Love and that he is their favorite prospect as of right now. Now, how true that is, I can't tell you. GMs do a lot of blowing smoke this time of year. And Mike Borgonzi, certainly a very smart and strategic man. So George brought this up last week, how Chad Brinker made the comment 2 years ago that they wanted, their goal was to get 12 picks in the top 100 of each of the last 3 drafts. Well, this is the 3rd draft, and they certainly haven't done that yet. So, George, this could either mean one of 2 things. One, they're very serious about drafting Jeremiyah Love, or 2, they're trying to entice a team like, I don't know, maybe the Kansas City Chiefs, who really need a running back, to trade up with you in order to get Jeremiyah Love. Which one at this point in time do you think it is?
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, Detroit's going to win 4-2.
Boo.
With 15 seconds left. They score an empty net goal. And secondly, I really don't care what Chad Brinker has to say.
We know.
Chad Brinker isn't running this ship. But let me say this, Chad Brinker's handprint is on the entire mess that led up to Borgonzi being hired. So I don't pay any attention to what Chad Brinker, the nonsense he puts out there. Chad Brinker's the guy in charge, thank God. And we'll see. I've said it a couple of times. 4-2 final, big loss for the Preds. You know, with all of the Preds' needs, you better be really certain that Jeremiyah Love is the real deal. Because if you pick him, given that that's not one of their biggest needs, running back has been the least of their problems.
George,
now, they don't have the explosiveness, but they don't have it anywhere.
Here's how I choose to look at this. And to be honest, after talking with people, I'm a little warmer on the idea of the Titans drafting Jeremiyah Love. Now, would I do it? Probably not. I am a little bit warmer because I choose to look at it as you're drafting a playmaker, somebody that can not only play running back, but can also go out and play slot receiver. The amount of motions that you could use with Jeremiyah Love, that could be used as a smokescreen for the defense. So I'm getting a little warmer on this. However, here's how I think it's going to play out. And again, this is March 2nd. We still have a long time before the draft. I think the Jets are going to go David Bailey at 2. And I think the Cardinals are going to go Arvell Reese at 3. So that would leave the Titans with, and it seems like more prospects are being thrown in the mix here. Caleb Downs, I think, is in the mix, although probably not a likely option. Sonny Styles, Reuben Bain, and Jeremiyah Love. But George, we can't avoid the arm issue. And to be honest, I'm getting a little cold feet now with Reuben Bain. I don't know how much the arm length will disqualify him, for lack of a better term, from being a top 5 pick. I certainly think he's going to be a top 10 pick, but I think it's going to give the Titans a little bit of second thoughts.
So for what reason? Because suddenly you can't tip a ball that a guy 6'7" can?
The thinking is I think he's one of 3 players in the last 15 years. He has the shortest arms out of any of them. And you're taking a historical gamble if you draft him at number 4 overall. Do you trust the Titans to get that right?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm trying to be fairly positive on Borgonzi because he had, by Titan standards, a pretty fair first draft when he got here. They got some players out of that draft that look like they can help. So right now, I'm kind of on his ship. The rest of them, I think you know how I feel. But if you decide that Bain is the guy, the short arms, to me, that's just minute details.
So in the NFL, he's probably not going to be a wide 9, which means he would be rushing, coming way outside. You're going to have him put his hand in the ground. And this is what really did it for me, George. I heard a clip today from Daniel Jeremiah talking about the short arms. And Daniel Jeremiah is someone who's scouted in the NFL for, 20 years. He is much better at this than I am at evaluating these guys. He said that he talked to one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL about this. And, okay, he has short arms. How do you overcome that? And he talked about his footwork and
you acquire longer arms in free agency.
The power. That's what I'm concerned about. If you to overcome the short arms, you have to be a beast of an athlete, and you have to have the heavy hands, which he does, and the power, which he has. he dominated the college football playoff. However, you're going up against the best in the world now in NFL offensive lines. Will you be able to do that on a consistent basis? That's what I'm worried about.
This is paralysis by analysis.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. And I do believe it's going to boil down to Ruben Bain and Jeremiyah Love or a trade back, because you can blow enough smoke about Jeremiyah Love and maybe a team like Kansas City wants to come up and trade for it and give you the 9th overall pick and a second round, which I would do in a heartbeat. Maybe there's a team, Washington, that wants to trade and get Caleb Downs. I could certainly see that being an option as well. So again, these are all hypotheticals, but certainly possibilities nonetheless. If it comes down to David Bailey or Ruben Bain, George, which way do you think you'd lean?
I don't know. I know this, that I'm not going to spend the next month and a half on this show debating it. Surely to God, we've got something better than this over the next month and a half.
No, it is draft season.
I understand that, but I mean, it's pretty much down to about 3 people.
Yeah.
And the worst thing we can find on a guy is his arms are short.
Some combine standouts, and credit to our
You
new,
ignored that, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, because it's paralysis by analysis.
Our new graphics guy, Connor, has done a fantastic job. We just got him on Thursday, and this is a graphic that he made for us. Some combine top performers. Lorenzo Styles, the brother of Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles, who also had a fantastic combine, ran a 4.27 in the 40. Julian Neal, cornerback at Arkansas, 11.2 broad. And these are all the tops of the categories, at least for the defensive and offensive side of the ball. D'Angelo Pons, a guy that I'm really high on, a corner from Indiana, 43.5 vertical jump. And David Gusta, 37 reps on the bench press. George, have you ever been able to bench 225?
Who cares?
Kentucky had some freaks at the combine.
Right. And how good did they do this year?
Underwear Olympics, George, is what I like to call it.
Right.
Most important thing is the film, but still. Eli Stowers, I thought he helped his case because there were some people, which I went over to ESPN.com, George, and they had Eli Stowers as the 5th best tight end, which shocked me.
Shocked you low or high?
Low.
Okay.
I thought he would at least be top 3, but he certainly helped himself. He ran a 4.5 in the 40, then had, I think it was the highest vertical jump in the last 15 years for a tight end nonetheless, 45.5. And Brendan Thompson, wide receiver at Mississippi State, 4.26 on the 40. So some freaks.
Okay, so let me ask this. You clearly put a lot of stock in this junk.
No.
I put none. I think it's a complete waste of time.
I don't put no.
And I'm like Kelly. It's an excuse for the NFL people to get together and have a few post-thing cocktails. I mean, really, we're talking about whether a guy's hands are long enough. I mean, do you think in the combine Drew Brees was listed as a Hall of Famer?
Tom Brady wasn't. George, that's what I'm saying. The most important thing is the film. And this is all ancillary stuff. I call it the Underwear Olympics. I don't put much because I know when I was going
put a lot of stock.
Heck no.
We've talked about it every day for the last week and a half.
It's still important.
How important?
It's not completely dismissive.
It's so important that he doesn't have long enough arms.
It's a concern.
Oh, please.
Whether we want to admit it or whether you want to admit it or not, it's a concern. George, when I was going through all this stuff.
If it's such a concern, why did he dominate at Miami?
It's college offensive lines versus NFL we're talking about.
Well, I understand that. But if it's a problem on the college, on the pro level, wouldn't it be some level of problem on the college level?
I was in the same boat as you are. But when people like Daniel Jeremiah are saying they're talking to defensive coordinators and they're concerned about it,
they have nothing else to talk
turns a light
about.
bulb on.
For the next month and a half, they have nothing else to talk about.
Well, listen, when I was going through all this stuff, when I was getting recruited to colleges, I hated doing all these drills because I just wanted to go out there and throw. So I get it. This is all underwear Olympics. That's all it is.
So, okay, then tell me, on the college level, well, in the, I know we're up against it. For a quarterback, what's important?
On the field throwing. That's the most important.
So why do we do all this other crap with them?
There are still some things to garner. Like Carnell Tate didn't have a very impressive combine.
No, and I'm asking your business, the quarterback. Why is the 40-yard dash of any importance? None of them are going to run 40 yards.
No.
It's stupid. A lot of this is waste of time.
So 2 things we've garnered from the last 5 shows. George hates Gonzaga and George hates the NFL Combine.
No, the Combine's a waste of time.
I'm guessing you watched 0 minutes of it this weekend?
0. 0.
And he decided to go to Rupp instead and not eat the ice cream, which George is crazy.
Well,
come on.
We'll get to that later. Have you ever been to Rupp?
No.
So you don't even know.
I trust Jay Billis.
Okay.
When I go to Rupp, I'm trying the ice cream.
Do we not have a break to go to?
We got 10 seconds.
Okay. Then get us out.
5, 4. We'll see you on the other side. We'll talk to our guy, Taylor Barnette. We'll ask him what he thinks of the Combine.
This week in Vanderbilt history, March 1st, 2025, Memorial Magic against Mizzou as the Commodores come off the mat for their 20th win, defeating Missouri 97-93 in overtime. Vandy was down 3 with 9 seconds left in regulation, then forced OT when A.J. Hoggard found Tyler Nickel for what was likely the biggest shot of the season. In play goes McLaughlin, hands it back to Hoggard, speed dribble front court. Hoggard driving right side, Nickel for the tie. Yes! 2 seconds left, 81 apiece. Nickel hits some distance. From the Vanderbilt Sports Network, the Commodores started fast in overtime and outscored Mizzou 16-12 to finish the day. VU was led by Chris Magnon's double-double of 23 points and 11 rebounds. Hoggard scored 21 with 6 assists. The win was a key entry on the NCAA tournament resume as Vandy made the big dance in year 1 with Coach Mark Byington. Commodores 97, Missouri 93 in overtime in March of 2025. This week in Vanderbilt history, I'm Kevin Ingram.
You enjoy the thrill of gambling, but what happens when it becomes a problem? Whether you want to cut back or quit gambling altogether, the Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling for over 2 decades. We're here to help, not to judge. The Gambling Clinic is a Tennessee-based clinic offering in-person and telehealth support to help people win back their life. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Brought to you by the Gambling Clinic, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Hey guys, Big Joe here, proud member of the Beehive Club at Busy Bee. You should be one as well. Listen, March is off and rolling. Check out this deal. When you purchase a 16-SEER high-efficiency HVAC system or a whole home repipe, you receive a Yeti Tundra 45 cooler. Man, I love Busy Bee HVAC.
Call 775-7833.
At DePaul University, your dreams don't wait for opportunity. We meet 100% of each student's demonstrated financial need. Nothing should stand between you and your potential. Visit depauw.edu.
Laundry piling up? Make it easier with the latest washers and dryers from Electronic Express. We carry top brands like LG, Samsung, Speed Queen, Whirlpool, and GE. So whether you need an all-in-one unit, stacked unit, front load, or top load, we've got that. With free delivery, the guaranteed lowest prices, and up to 24 months free financing, upgrading your laundry room has never been easier. Find your perfect setup in-store or online, only at Electronic Express. We've got that.
Hey guys, it's Mike from Newton Fort South. Tired of complicated car visits? We've made it easier than ever to book the service you need or schedule time with our sales team. Whether it's time for routine maintenance, a recall check, or you want to test drive that new Ford you saw online, your next visit starts with a simple click. Our website is always up to date and easy to navigate. Don't put off that service or that upgrade. Take control of your schedule and your vehicle needs today. Schedule your service appointment today at NewtonFortSouth.com.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
You have a really big decision if you're Baltimore
on how you're going to proceed with Lamar. Are you going to put a Band-Aid on this contract, or is it going to be a legitimate long-term extension? I would just say keep an eye out on what happens, what the structure of it is in terms of the Ravens' level of commitment to him as their franchise quarterback for the foreseeable future.
Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Earlier on Clinton and Friends.
Headline: Jack Hughes and Connor Hellebuck lift the U.S. to Olympic hockey gold. These are the kind of moments that make you believe in who you are. I was very impressed with this squad. This wasn't just a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination. And for them to be able to execute in a high-pressure circumstance like that showed a lot.
Clinton and Friends, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? I'll give Connor a little bit of grace. He is new to the show, but this is going to be too easy for George.
Oh, I don't know that it is. You know, I remember Chris Johnson at one point had the fastest 40 time. I don't think it's him anymore. And truthfully, I don't know who it is.
Really?
I don't.
Okay. So I'll give you a hint. It was within the last 5 years.
Yeah. I don't know who it is.
Xavier Worthy, 2024, ran a 4.21.
We could have been here a while.
Could have been here a while. Let's go ahead and wait, not this one. Here we go. Man, George is a snob today. That Predators loss must have stung. George, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, that's not it, although that's a bad loss for them, and they got royally hosed late in the second period for the go-ahead goal. And I would have liked to have seen Andrew Barnette jump in the officials' mess kit a little bit instead of just sitting there. I think the players would appreciate that because everybody on that bench went crazy when the call wasn't made. My snobbiness involves combine, which I think is the biggest waste of time. First of all, if the combine and what you learn there is so important, then why have the Titans butchered so many drafts in the last 10 years? They learn the same stuff everybody else learns at the combine.
Well, I can answer that in a sentence. Their film evaluation sucks. Or did suck.
But, I mean, you're sitting here telling me that the most important issue about Reuben Bain is the length of his arms.
I'm not going to get into this. We got to get to Taylor Barnette.
Well, you know what? He can deal with it for a minute.
Taylor, hold on. I'm going to bring you up here because I got to ask you a question. George decided he wanted to match me today. We're wearing the same exact Predators polo. So I'm going to ask you, should I burn it or donate it? Which one?
Definitely donate it, man.
Okay, I'll donate.
No need to
you
burn
can have
it.
it.
Yeah.
You can have it after the show.
Great.
I'll make sure to wash it first.
I told your mom Saturday at Rupp Arena that she should charge you when she babysits the grandson.
hey, I'm cool with it, man. That's all good.
So your dad took care of us beautifully. It was, it really was a lot of fun until the game started.
George, you can go ahead and start. Go because I know you want to ask questions. So go ahead.
No, I'm trying to find what his dad sent me here. Because
Taylor, let me ask you this.
Did he send you an evaluation on the game? He give you a little commentary?
Yeah, he said, sorry your Commodores didn't play better, looked tired, which is exactly what I thought.
Taylor, have you ever had the ice cream at Rupp Arena?
I have.
Is it as good as people say? The soft serve?
It's great. I do think you can get really good soft serve ice cream at other places.
Really? So Jay Billis was wrong?
No, what he's saying is that shouldn't be a top priority when you go there.
Because every time I watch Jay Billis and Dan Schulman do the broadcast, there's always a portion where they're eating soft serve ice cream while broadcasting the game, and they can't get enough of it.
I don't think soft serve ice cream is unique. I think soft serve ice cream is unique in Rupp Arena. You can't go to a lot of college basketball games and get soft serve ice cream, just the classic swirl or whatever you want.
Okay.
So if I was there and I'm Jay Billis, I'm going to get some soft serve ice cream as well, because you don't really see that much anymore.
I would do it as well. I've never been to Rupp, but I would do it as well.
But yeah, so I don't blame him. I'd get it too. But you're going to wait in line. It's you got to be strategic.
So George did say that Vanderbilt looked tired. Since starting 16-0, they're 5-7 in their last 12. How concerned are you about Vanderbilt at this point in time?
Yeah, I mean, listen, they've played a hard schedule in the last 7, and losing at Rupp Arena is pretty common. It's a really hard place to win, and they beat them at home by 25 or 30. So I'm not concerned. I think that if they're getting Duke Miles back at the right time, he's still getting his legs underneath him, getting back in basketball conditioning, which is going to really help Tyler Tanner having another ball handler out there. I think that Vanderbilt is still going to make a run here in March. They have the talent, they have the versatility, they have the shooting. The SEC schedule is long and it's really hard. So I think that when they get some rest, they go into the SEC tournament, eventually the NCAA tournament. I think they'll be hopefully the best version of themselves.
So I've been thinking about, who are legit national championship contenders, and I still believe Houston, despite their 3-game, losing skid, I still believe that they're going to be right there, whether they're a 2 seed, whether they're a 3 seed, because I just have this idea that once they get out of Big 12 play, it's just a gauntlet, night in and night out. Once they get out of Big 12 play, they're going to get, those first couple of games where they're playing a, 14, 15 seed. They might cruise to the second weekend, then play will start to ramp up. But I think they'll get a little bit of a boost just because they're not playing Big 12 opponents all the time. Not saying that Vanderbilt's a national championship contender, but do you think that'll help when they get out of SEC play?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, it's a grind, and they still got a couple of really important games left. I mean, Tuesday, what do they play at Ole Miss on Tuesday is going to be a tough game. And then certainly at Tennessee on Saturday is going to be hard. But it's an opportunity to continue to get better and continue to gain confidence and work on yourself as a team. They're not on the bubble at all. What a great position to be in, right? It's not like you have to go down here and win these games in order to be in. Obviously, you do want to win, but what a great opportunity to continue to get better and to prepare for what really matters down the line.
It really just was not a great week for the in-state schools, because Tennessee dropped their second straight game to Alabama, and they had a 13-point lead at one point. They've blown 5 leads in SEC play this year in which they've had a 10 or more point lead. Is it kind of the same thing with Tennessee? And Nate Ament getting hurt obviously was a huge factor in that as well. You think it's the same thing for Tennessee? Once they get out of SEC play, I think the ceiling is Sweet 16. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know if Nate Ament is not playing. I think the ceiling lowers significantly. I think his upside individually and for their team is huge. I think, I'm really impressed though by Coach Barnes. I think you can make the argument that this is one of his, if not the most impressive coaching job that he's done with the Tennessee team. They're not as talented as they have been in the past. I mean, there's been some lineups where you're like, man, Admiral Schofield, Grant Williams, and that team, it was crazy talented. So I've been really impressed of how this team has progressed and gotten better. It feels like every single day and every single game. But once the tournament comes around, it's if that guy's not there, it's like, how are you going to score the basketball? Going back to the Vanderbilt game, there was possessions where it was like deflection, loose ball, recover, one pass, drive in the lane, land in the lane, shot fake, turn around and make a layup. It just was kind of ugly. And so it's like, can they clean some of that up? They're always going to defend and play really hard and be all over the offensive glass. So, there's going to be contrasting styles, and I think it depends on who they're going to play.
And I had a little bit of concern just when, he was putting this team together. because you're losing Zakai Ziegler, which is obviously going to be a massive deal. You're losing Jemai Meshack, who was one of the better defenders during his time in college. You're losing a bunch of guys like that. Chaz Lanier, a flamethrower from behind the arc. So I was worried about that a little bit, but he has done a nice job recovering, it seems like, at least in SEC play. The other team that I wanted to talk about in state was Belmont. They lost yesterday to Illinois State 81-74. You know Belmont very well, considering you were a player in the program. What went wrong for them yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, listen, first off, it's amazing that they won the regular season Missouri Valley Championship with games to go. And so it's not that those guys thought we didn't have something to play for. They absolutely have something to play for at Illinois State. But playing at Illinois State is hard. I think Illinois State was picked to win the Missouri Valley. And so I think Illinois State had a lot to play for yesterday. I think winning that game brought them up to the 3 seed. It changed the bracket for them a little bit, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. But once again, it's a hard game. It's not like, oh, Belmont lost to a bad team. That's a really bad loss. Not at all. And in my perspective, it's like, man, that's a little fuel on the fire going into the Missouri Valley tournament this week. It's like they tasted another loss, and it's like, okay, we're not losing again. Because, it's 3 games to win that Missouri Valley tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. And so once again, it's a hard game at Illinois State, and that's a really good team.
I'm going to ask you kind of a deep question right here, because there's all this talk about expanding the NCAA tournament, which I don't think any of us are in favor for. You look at the Missouri Valley and Belmont, what would happen if they didn't win? Would they still get in? I think of the A-10 in St. Louis. What would happen if they didn't win? What happens if VCU wins, or George Mason? Does St. Louis still get in? Bruce Pearl came out and said over the weekend that if Miami, Ohio didn't win the MAC, that they should be left out. So if we expand this NCAA tournament, it's not going to help the mid-majors like some think that it might, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, unless they make some rule that it's like they have to, take 2 from whatever conference. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they plan on doing it exactly, or if it's just like we're expanding it and then they're going to add 2 more from the SEC and 2 more from the Big Ten, and literally the whole conference is in there. It's a shame, because I really do think Belmont is worthy of that. Absolutely. I don't think anybody wants to play them in the NCAA tournament. And I think they are very, very good. And so it is kind of makes you think like, well, like this whole net ranking system, Indiana State 2 years ago was 28th in the net and they didn't make it. Like, what's up with that? Are they really choosing based on this? No. So I think at the end of the day, you got to think about it's a revenue thing, and what's going to attract fans. And, it's those SEC schools, the Big Ten schools have a lot more. So it does stink, because Belmont and Miami of Ohio have already done the harder thing. And that's win the regular season conference championship. That's a grind. That's over months. And, we see every year a team gets hot in the conference championship. It happened to me when I was at Belmont. Austin Peay was the 8 seed and got hot, and they won the tournament, and they went to the NCAA tournament with a losing record. And kudos to them. That's what it's all about, right? It's March Madness. But that doesn't happen to teams in the SEC if they lose in the first round. They're good.
Well, you look at the bubble, too. I mean, the last 4 byes are all SEC teams. The last 4 in Auburn, TCU, Santa Clara, Indiana, who just lost to Michigan State. The bubble seems significantly weaker than in previous years. So if you're expanding the NCAA tournament, you're just allowing teams that really don't deserve, like Auburn just lost to Ole Miss. They're 15-14. They don't deserve to be in. And this is my last one, by the way. That's exactly what expanding the NCAA tournament would do in my mind. You get these weaker teams, just giving them an extra chance, but really they don't deserve to be there.
Yeah, you could definitely make that argument. And then the flip side of the argument is like, oh, their strength of schedule is really, really hard, which it is. And so I think, but that's so hard. No one's going to play a Belmont in the regular season. That's just, they're not going to do that. And so I think that's what makes it tricky is these high major schools get to kind of pick and choose who they're going to play. But in the conference where they don't get to pick and choose who they play and who they schedule, every game is going to be more than likely a quad 1 game or maybe a quad 2 game. So there's just a serious advantage when it comes to strength of schedule.
So, Taylor, did anything yesterday that you saw up there give you any cause for concern?
And you're referring to yesterday
Belmont.
as? Oh no,
Belmont's game.
I don't think so. I think this is the most maybe complete team that Belmont has ever had, and I think what a lot of people, they look at, because Belmont has always been known for 3-point shooting. This team defends and they're physical, and that has been the separator. Is this team, when they miss a three, it doesn't dictate how they guard. And I think that Brigham Rogers and Drew Sharnowski on the inside, those guys are physical. They bring a presence on the glass that's different. Jabez Jenkins can guard anybody. They play good team defense. And so I think that's the difference in this group. And I think that can allow them to win games, even if it's an off night. And that they've done that. They've proven that. So I think it's a really complete team, and I'm not concerned.
So I'm curious your perspective on this. I kind of felt like when Vandy got home Saturday that it might be time for Mark Byington to have a little team meeting and say, hey, what gives here? Because what I saw Saturday looked tired. I wonder if maybe he's narrowed the bench down one or two too few. I don't see a lot of energy in their tank, but I'm also guessing that a coach can only pull that team meeting thing once or twice a year, or it's just, what does he want now? Would that have been the time to do it?
Maybe. I think that you can read into a lot of things, but I know that he's a phenomenal coach, and they respect him, and they're with him, and they got his back and he's got theirs. And, it could be a thing where they're tired. And so you have to kind of take that in consideration, but it's also, like I said, winning at Rupp Arena is a tough thing to do. And I think that team has great leadership, and what an opportunity it is for those guys that they might just call their own team meeting. And what a gift that is as a coach, that you have that type of leadership in your locker room, and they do. But I think there's a temptation to try to reinvent the wheel every time you lose a game, or, what do we got to change this? We got to change that. And, sometimes I think you got to take a step back, realize where you're at in the season, and just continue to get better each day and make tweaks as you need to go. But, no, I don't think that they need to try to reinvent the wheel. They've won a lot of games, and they're really good.
Okay, and I'm with you on that part. So let me toss out there where I think some of it is, and you tell me either you agree or disagree. I think when you get to late February, and now obviously we've crept into March, that in conference play, you throw up a fist play, the other team knows exactly what you're doing. They know everything about you that you know about you. And that's part of the reason these conference games are such a grind. They're all single-digit games that a lot of times come down to free throws. And that's part of why it's such a grind.
Yeah, that's a great point. When you start playing these teams twice and it's late in February and they've seen your whole playbook, they've seen you play everybody else that you've played. They see what other teams have done that's successful against you defensively. It does make it harder for sure. And that's where it's like, as a player, these games are won by performance. Is the system's in place. Now you got to go perform in the system. And, you see guys have breakout games, like I think Billy Richmond's playing amazing for Arkansas. Like, that guy's stepping up and performing at a really good time for them. And Tyler Tanner has done that all year long for Vanderbilt. And having Duke Miles back, who's really, I don't know if he's still their leading scorer, but he's right there, is really going to help them down the stretch. And those guys they'll perform well down the stretch. They're really hard to guard.
So what do you make of Arkansas getting absolutely annihilated? I think we all thought, hey, it'll take something for them to win down there, but to lose by whatever it was, 37, Wow.
Yeah, credit to Florida. They're really good. But I didn't expect it to be that many. It just kind of, it's almost as if, okay, we got down big and all the air came out of the balloon. And I feel like that's a couple different directions you can go, as you can continue to fight or you kind of just give in. And losing by 37 is kind of giving in. But I know that they'll be resilient. Coach Calipari's all over those guys, and they'll be ready to go. And golly, they're talented. They could beat anybody.
Okay, so here's one I should have caught. So St. John's a week ago has a stretch where they go 0 for 24 in a loss at UConn to end a game. I should have known that they would annihilate Villanova. Poor Villanova. Can you imagine what Pitino was like during those next 4 days?
No, I cannot. They had individual workouts at 7 a.m., practice at noon, and skill work at 8 p.m. for 3 straight days, I'm sure.
Well, that's exactly the way it went. So, okay. Last thing. I made this comment. I watched the game Friday night, Michigan at Illinois. And there's always been this feeling that the European guys are skilled, but they're soft. And I thought Illinois, Friday night, soft. Michigan could do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah. I
aren't you glad you got in on this?
Yeah.
Remember, he's feeling a little snobby today.
Yeah, that comment made me laugh. Here's the thing. It's like in every game, I'm sure there's some soft plays, if you will, but Michigan's also just really good. And they're coming off a loss on the biggest game on national TV, playing Duke at a neutral site in the middle of the season. So I'm sure their practices the last 7 days weren't easy either. And they've proven that they're really good all year long. So I think in these situations, it's you got to give credit to a team that's really good, and Illinois is as well. And they could easily play again and be a totally different result. But Michigan's proven all year long that they're really hard to beat.
Okay, last thing. You can tell your dad this later. So he was nice enough. We got tickets. We get club access, the parking pass. But one of us in the car, the driver, had no idea how to get to parking level 2. And if anybody could have seen the circle around Rupp Arena, you keep circling. Do you have any idea how to? Yeah, thanks. Do you have? Yeah, thanks. Nobody knows how to get to level 2. It was hilarious. You'd have loved it.
That's a tough scene, man. I'm just glad you weren't the driver, George.
I was the driver.
Oh, man.
I had no idea where I was going. I mean, look, I've been to Rupp double-digit number of times, but it's changed since the last time I was there was 2003. They've renovated. They've added this garage. They've put the, Lexus lounge in for all the hootie snooties. And, it's a little bit different. And they've got now, show him the picture. Okay. The first picture. See those 5 rows at the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
C.M. Newton would love this, because what Kentucky did to try to maximize revenue, they blew the media out of that area, and they've got them way up in the upper deck.
Oh, so you're really glad you didn't get media tickets for this one, huh?
Well, years ago, Taylor, he instituted this. He was on this kick that media people were getting too much free stuff. And so he instituted, and I didn't know it until we got there that particular day, it was down to free popcorn. And so we walk in 2.5, and he's waiting for me. And he wants to know my opinion of his new media policy, popcorn only, no pregame meal. And I told him, I said, I don't need your pregame meal. I said, but if you're going to talk about people taking freebies, you don't need to be the one casting the first stone.
UNCM had a great relationship.
Oh, awesome. So many memories with him came through Saturday, just sitting in that gym, because some of the most fun stuff I had with him was when he became the AD at Kentucky.
I'm sure he would have some hot takes for the college athletics environment.
Oh boy!
Oh, you think
that we're in?
Anyway, I'll let your dad know, but tell him again we had a great time, and thanks to him for it.
Absolutely, I will.
Taylor, really appreciate the time, man. Enjoy the college basketball tonight. We got another heavyweight in the Big 12.
No doubt, man, and it's conference tournament week starting up, so it's a really exciting time.
Were you just as excited when March 1st rolled around as I was?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Man, great time of year. Taylor, really appreciate the time. We'll do this again next week and preview some tournaments. Appreciate the time.
Sounds good. See you guys.
That was Taylor Barnette, former Belmont men's basketball player. It is March, as John Rothstein has said about 1 million times on his Twitter. On the other side, we'll react to what Taylor had to say and some more college basketball tonight. Should be fun. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
There's that music, George. There's that music.
You want one more little theory?
Yeah.
Okay. I just looked at the long-range forecast over the next 10 days.
Okay.
And in Nashville, we will have temperatures that get into the 80s this week. And I think that makes it hard at the end for players.
Why is that?
Spring break's coming. Temperatures getting into the 80s. Who wants to be in a gym?
Who wants to be doing class?
Do you not think that at some point players start to feel that a little bit?
Sure. I know when I was in college, we didn't get a fall break my first semester, and going 16 straight weeks was always really tough. But let's not pretend like these kids are going to class anyway, right, George?
Well, I mean, depends on who you ask. Carson Beck said he didn't go for 2 years.
Yeah, he hasn't been in 2 years.
I don't know if that's just a quarterback thing or what.
That's a whole separate thing that we could get into. Don't open that can of worms, George, please. Let's look at Big Monday tonight. Duke and NC State. Duke a 9.5-point favorite after a big win at Cameron Indoor. And Iowa State and Arizona, another top 6 showdown in the Big 12. George, Duke, are they far and away the best team right now?
Oh, I don't know that they're far and away, but they're starting to feel more and more because if you think about it, nobody was putting them at the head of the class until they beat Michigan. And then all of a sudden there was some, whoa. I mean, it's the way they did it.
Yeah.
For instance, Illinois, like I said, they played soft. Michigan could do whatever they wanted at Illinois a few nights ago. Michigan against Duke couldn't do anything. Duke's defense didn't allow them to do a thing. So on paper, Duke's coming off this 30-point massacre of a really good Virginia team. You think it's let down, but I don't see any letdown in Duke. I don't see anything other than just this is what you get every night out of Duke with virtually no letdown. Look, I don't know if they're the best team, but I'm starting to at least say, when you say who is the best team in the country, Duke's got to be there with a couple of others. It's the way I thought they dominated Michigan. They didn't let Michigan do anything.
And Michigan has been dominating everybody else.
Exactly.
So,
and ran over Illinois with a truck.
Man. So, no, and honestly, when it comes to the ACC, and we're going to talk about ACC Coach of the Year and all that, to be honest, I think John Shire locked it up with the win over Virginia because Virginia is the second best team in the conference, and they dominated them. Granted, it was at Cameron Indoor, which is a huge advantage, but still, I feel like sometimes they don't get – people like John Shire don't get the recognition they deserve because they're at Duke. But at the same time, you think about everybody they lost last year. You lose Cooper Flagg, you lose Con Knipple, you lose Sion James, Kalman Malawach, all of those guys, and you just bring in replacements and boom, number one team in the country. To me, he locked up Coach of the Year.
You know, I laugh because this has now been 43 years of this Duke run. And the truth of it is the Carolina people who were kind of snotty about it never dreamed that Duke would ever get to their level. And when I got to do that game at the end of 1983, like in December, the people at Duke wanted Coach K gone. He'd been there 2 years. He hadn't gotten anything done. They ended their second season with like a 50-point loss to Georgia Tech. And now look, 40 years later, and Duke's the model.
They are. 9.5-point favorite over NC State tonight, which will be in Raleigh at the Levano Center. And then
it's where the Carolina Hurricanes play.
Yep.
So this is one, I don't know, what's Lenardi got NC State? Because they're down a ways.
Yeah.
Like in the 9, 10, 11 range seeding.
I think they dropped a seed line, if I remember correctly. He hasn't updated it. He's going to update it tomorrow. He has NC State as an 8 seed right now, and they would be playing 9 UCLA if it were to happen today.
So they'd be in an 8-9. Man, they could do themselves some good. But the way Duke is playing, they could also get trashed.
Which I would guess, too, if UCLA is going to drop a seed line with the loss to Minnesota, this past weekend. And then the game of the night, Iowa State and Arizona. This is at the McHale Center, which I love the McHale Center, George. I've never been, but I feel like it's one of the more underrated environments in college basketball.
This is Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean,
7.5-point favorite tonight.
Of course, you say Iowa State's had a day and a half to sulk about what went on at home to Texas Tech. So they got one of two ways to go. They can either feel sorry for themselves and get trashed, which is what I think is going to happen, or they can rise above it and say we're at Arizona's level, which I don't think they are. Not in Tucson.
Offensively, no. I would absolutely not. I do like this Arizona team. I really do. Iowa State, by the way, George, they were one of before the game. They were one of 3 teams in college basketball, major college basketball, to not lose at home, and now there are 2. And I think it was North Carolina and Duke. Those were the 2. So those are the games for tonight. I want to leave enough time for the phones. So this is going to be a little bit of a shorter segment. Let's go ahead and open up the phones now. 615-759-9949. George, you mentioned it. The season ticket holders are listening. I'm sure they are.
By the way, if you think I've been crabby today, say it.
Tell them, as long as it's sports related, right? 615-759-9949. Whatever you got for us on the other side of the George Plaster.
Hold on a second. But if you think that the combine is pretty much a waste of time,
it mostly is.
Side with me.
It mostly is. I agree with you, George. I'm just saying there are little things
you don't. You spent the last 5 days. That's all we do is talk about it.
This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a race and sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
This is actually the perfect song because the phone lines are open at 615-759-9949. George has requested that you call in or else he may cry on the air. And to be honest, we do not want to see that.
No, I just think that there are red-blooded Americans out there that need to hit the phones
to
right
side
now.
with me, of course.
Probably not.
And one of those, Frank and Smyrna on line one, we'll go ahead and head there now. Frank, what's on your mind, sir?
Oh, man, I tell you what, sitting down here in Florida, and it's still just, I'm not going to lie, it makes me madder than hell for the Predators to lose to the Detroit Red Wings. I despised them 20 years ago. I despise them now. And whoever at 501 Broadway in Nashville gave the okay to the NHL to play a game at 1 o'clock on Monday. Hello, this is a work day, is it not? This is a school day, is it not? Or time's just changing, and since my 54th birthday is tomorrow, maybe I'm not with the times. I mean, help me understand. Why are we playing at 1 o'clock on a Monday?
I don't know. I mean, I get that they were trying to showcase the European players in prime time in Europe. Do it on Detroit time. Do it on Buffalo's time. I thought season ticket holders got screwed today. Now, on the Preds end, it's possible the NHL gave them some money to shut up. I don't know. But I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. And I will say on one hand, I probably have no right to complain because yes, I did sell my tickets to this game, but still, an awfully lot of red in there, and it just, I don't know, Detroit just bugs me. And yes, I think the season ticket holders got hosed today. I agree because it's an afternoon game. And I mean, I will admit to working while I had the TV on. The game was carried on the NHL network, so I could watch that here. I don't know who the announcers were, anything about it, but they put the graphics. I noticed like speed of shot and all that. They put in the metric system kilometers per hour. So instead of how fast the puck was in miles per hour, I thought that was interesting. But Georgia,
what even is a kilogram?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I will say for our Braves, George, so far so good. It seems to be good news out of training camp. They're just winning games. The backups are winning a lot of games. I know it's too early to tell, but Strider looked good the other day. Grant Holmes was decent yesterday. Some positive news coming out of North Port, Florida. So
I hope you're right. We need some good news.
I'm going to go check them out again Thursday when they're playing the Toronto Blue Jays. And the one thing I have noticed about spring training when you come down here, if you want to see your team's regular, lineup that you're probably going to see every night in the regular season, go to the team's home park. I've been telling people don't expect to see the Braves regular lineup in like today, for example. The game was on ESPN. That was it. All of those guys were their backup players.
I had never heard of about 7 of the people in their lineup today. I was like, who are they?
Same thing with me. I was on my phone kind of looking at it going, well, they're probably going to be in the minor leagues in the next week or so anyway. But that's how I noticed the Braves are handling spring training. The regulars play at the home games at Northport. And you know what? I guess to be fair, they're putting the work in, and they've earned the right not to have to take those 2 or 3 hour cross Florida bus trips because those could get kind of long, I'm sure. But and I'm going to leave you guys with this. I think you guys are spot on about Vanderbilt basketball. I think they beat Ole Miss tomorrow night. I don't think they're going to win at Tennessee Saturday, but it wouldn't shock me if they did. I just don't see it. I do agree. Come NCAA tournament time, they're playing different competition. I think that's going to help them, And one other thing, I finally got to do two things last week that I had never done before that are related to somewhat to Tennessee and Nashville. One of which is I finally saw Alabama in concert at the Florida Strawberry Festival in Plant City, Florida. The other thing is I went to see Nashville native Nate Bargatze in Fort Myers Friday night. Couldn't get tickets in Nashville, so I had to take my wife to Fort Myers. But
Frank,
you know what?
you know Nate Bargatze is a proud alum of my alma mater, Donaldson Christian Academy.
I was aware of that, yes. Yes, and I tell you what, he does put on a good show. I had a Titans like a golf shirt on, and people are looking at me, and several people said, "Are you from Nashville?" And I went, "Yes." And they're like, "Do you know him?" I went,
"Nope."
No. I said, "I've been around his uncle a few times, but other than that, no, I've never met Nate. Sure, he's a nice guy.
Frank,
I've seen him a few times." Anyway.
We got to run on that.
Appreciate the call, Frank, and happy early birthday. Jeff in Murfreesboro on line 2. Jeff, what's going on?
How's it going, Parker?
No, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I just want to say, watched the Vandy Kentucky game Saturday. They played okay. Still had a few bad calls, but we can take them. I wanted to ask George, I guess, and you, George, do you like the challenge system this year? They only get one challenge during a ball game.
You're talking about on the basketball front?
Yeah, the basketball, they only get one game.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
If they lose the challenge, they lose. If they win, they get to keep it. I mean, they should probably have it, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know, but did you hear what Tad Boyle said last week about the replay system?
No, he's the coach at Colorado. Tell me what he said.
He said the game is played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. We have too much technology in the game, and I agree with him. He said it's hogwash. It's hogwash. He said there's too much looking, and I told you before, study, worry, wonder. You got to look at every little thing. And there was a couple calls Saturday. I know the one on Chandler, they said he kicked his foot out, which he did. He was set and shooting, and that one that the guy knocked out, who it was, tell you guy, he was going up shot rebound, and he got knocked in the face, and they called I think it was a common. I think they call it the common foul. They said it should have been an F2. I don't know, but all that stuff.
So hold on a second. The Chandler call. Do you know who made the call?
Yeah. The referee don't know how to read. He made a bad call. I mean, the guy he didn't kick it. He didn't kick his foot out. He was set to shoot the 3. And they
the call was made by Will Howard, former Plaster intern.
Well, he's probably the same one that made that call at Auburn. He got shot by Barnette, and he called that 5 Oscars. Got accident. It's a flop, and they don't call flops either. They should be calling that. They didn't call that either. Of course, that didn't call the ball game and other things they lost. But there's been a lot of bad calls in the SEC. That's all you hear from fans at SEC. Officiating's terrible. That's all you heard all year long. It's awful. But everything was maybe they'll get better in the postseason. But I know Kentucky has an outside chance to get a top 4 if they can win these last 2. Florida seems you never know, and then some other ones they've got. I know Texas beats Arkansas. There's some different things that's got to happen for them to get it, but for them to be 5th right now, after they've lost 3 in a row, which they really shouldn't have lost, is pretty amazing. So
yeah, they've listen.
I go with Tad Boyle's words on that, George, and I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Kentucky played great Saturday. They shot great.
My gosh,
they have not shot that well most of the year.
No.
But Chandler has had a very underrated, really solid year for them.
Oh my gosh, transfer from BYU, followed Mark Pope. He was phenomenal. Him and Owe were fantastic on Saturday for Kentucky. But again, you don't always know which Kentucky team you're going to get. You got hot Kentucky on Saturday. Clay on line 3. Clay, what's going on?
Hey guys, how y'all doing? George,
Hey,
off the top, I have to ask if Kelly's absence today is excused.
No,
it is. It absolutely is.
George excuses it. I don't.
The way he excuses it is he just calls and says, "I'm not going to be around."
Okay.
This is not on a permission basis.
So you're 0 for continued at Rupp Arena, George.
You know, actually, I have seen one Vandy win up there. So let me take it back. I'm 1 for 10.
1 for 10.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tyler Nickel, George, you know, if Vanderbilt is going to do anything down the stretch here, do anything in the NCAA tournament, quite frankly, he's just got to start shooting the basketball better. And
yeah,
I'm sure teams are really keying on him now, but I think Vanderbilt, Coach Byington needs to come up with ways maybe to get him some, you know, better looks, because I do think his, you know, open shots have kind of decreased. But as you know, all shooters go through slumps. But I agree with you, though, George. You know, they just kind of look like a tired basketball team. And the unfortunate thing is, you know, when you've got guys in and out of the lineup all year long and you can't stay healthy and you can't have your full complement of players, that makes it pretty tough.
Yeah, and, you know, I wonder if a coach asks his players, are y'all tired? Because that's what it looks like. And I don't know whether coaches ask that or whether players would ever admit it if it got asked. Because, you know, what they're asking is, do you need less playing time? And most players would probably say, heck no.
George, do you think, you know, the league looks like, you know, Florida is just head and shoulders above everybody else? Alabama's playing pretty good right now, but outside of that, I mean, do you see anybody else from the league that, you know, and I hope Vanderbilt can start playing better and maybe get there, but who would you think might have a chance other than maybe Florida and Alabama to be a second weekend team?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know, it's a really good question. I want to still have some faith in Tennessee and Vandy, because I think both of those teams getting out of conference play might be really beneficial. It just feels like such a grind watching both of them right now. And it doesn't feel as easy as it did, you know, a month and a half ago for either one of them. The
Right.
Tennessee Vandy game here was an absolute grind.
Yeah.
Every possession was just blood and guts.
Yeah.
And
Amen getting knocked to the floor and all that. Yeah.
well, there's a little bit on both sides. Old Tyler Tanner, he takes some contact.
Do you like it when Kelly's not on the show, Parker?
I do. It's actually kind of nice.
I do not, and I will not. But now that Parker said that, I'll certainly report that to Kelly.
Well, here's the thing, Clay. George decided that he wanted to match me today, so I'm enjoying this show just a little bit less, even though Kelly's not on.
What do you mean decided to match you?
George heard that I was wearing this polo
I never
today,
heard a thing.
And, you know, he found out through, you know, Little Bird, and he decided to put on the same shirt, and now we're matching, and I'm going to go home and donate the shirt.
Clay, it's total nonsense, but we got to run.
See ya.
One more caller to get to, Kenny on line 4. Kenny, what's going on?
Not much. How are you two guys doing today?
Doing all right. Oh, this is Kenny the mailman. Kenny, what's going on, man?
No, Parker.
Oh, no, not Kenny the mailman. Oh.
Although I've heard Kenny the mailman all my life, seems like.
I'm sure, because usually Kenny the mailman calls in a lot.
Well, I call in every now and again when I get the opportunity. A couple of things I wanted to touch on. First of all, George, you've never been grumpy with me, whether I run into you at the Sounds game or run into you at the Vanderbilt game. You've always been real pleasant, so don't let people try to tell you that you're grumpy today.
I love it.
Second of all, can we get Doug Schnauz on the post-game show? Because he cannot stay off that camera. And now that they put a microphone in front of his face, when he does those upgrades or whatever it is, the reviews, it's just unbelievable. And
So-
I don't know what we can do to get him his own TV show. What I don't understand. And third thing, George, because you're probably closer to the basketball program than I am, what's going on with Frankie Collins? Because every time they ask Coach Byington in a press conference, his demeanor changes.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt. Sorry, go ahead. I shouldn't have butted in there.
No, that's fine. And you can go back and look at and I watch all of them because that's just what a Vanderbilt fan does. But every time they mention Frankie, it's quick 3-word answers. He's almost ready, and then it's on to the next thing. And his demeanor just changes. Because usually he's fairly upbeat and pretty honest about how they played and this and that. But what do you think is going on? I mean, if he's hurt, they should just come out and say he's hurt, maybe get a medical red shirt. He can come back next year.
Okay, I'm going to let you hear this off air if that's okay.
Sure.
I have brought this up a couple of times because I feel like I know exactly what the story is. He got hurt against Memphis in December. As things went along, he determined that if he didn't play any more games with Vandy, he could get a redshirt year, go to yet another school, and get paid. Well, that doesn't help Vandy at all. And when Duke Miles got hurt, it got especially pissy because they could have really used him. What I don't understand is why Byington just doesn't come out and say, we got hosed.
It's a good point, George, and I don't feel like you would come out and say that unless you actually knew what was going on. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
Let me put it this way. It will be the shock of all shocks if he ends up playing. But the caller is right. Mark Byington's, when he gets asked about that, boy, his demeanor sure changes, as though he is in pain, like the kind of pain the Dr. Gill Center treats.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
Well, and they're pretty good at it. They tried through what we'll call an initial consultation to find out, okay, what's happening? Where is the pain? What's causing it? Here's what we think we can do to help fix it. So if $49 for that initial consultation means something to you, dial them up. 615-882-4838. Again, 615-882-4838.
George, you want to know something that didn't bring me pain this weekend?
Yeah, whatever.
Look at this. Look at this. If only Miami, Ohio did what they were supposed to do, I would have been 6-0 last weekend.
Congratulations. That is impressive.
I know. And I'm going to continue it tonight. Mm-hmm. Duke -9.5 versus NC State.
Go Wolfpack.
Go Blue Devils. We'll see all of you tomorrow.
This is a Game Nashville Sports Network weather update.
Here is your latest Middle Tennessee weather. Expect mostly cloudy conditions tonight with a low